Welcome back to Virtual Homecoming 2020. It's halftime in the game between the Mustangs and the GGs. Two Mustangs touchdowns and a field goal have put the Mustangs up 23-7. And I am absolutely delighted to be joined by a very proud Western Mustang alumni. He has an amazing journey both on and off the field. And I am so pleased to be joined by kicker Lirim Hajrullahu. How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We're celebrating homecoming. We wish you were here,
Yes.
but hey, we're doing this
Uh,
virtually and that's all good.
yeah.
Lirim, you have had an incredible career, but what many people don't realize is your personal journey and your path to football and your family. Could you give us some insights into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up in Europe in a small country called Kosovo. And in 97 to 99, there was a war there between Serbia and Croatia, Bosnia, and then they made their way down to Kosovo. And luckily for myself and my family, um, when they came to Kosovo, at first they surrounded our little town. Um, and really try to scare us and basically let us, they told us you have, within the week, you guys got to get out of here. So this whole week came up, and then eventually our whole little town decided to go towards um, Bulgaria. And we get to the border. We had to go through Serbia to get to Bulgaria. So we get to the border, and they wouldn't let us in. So we went back to our little town and basically came back and negotiated with the Serbian troops that were there, to be like, we have nowhere to go, and they're like, okay, well, you have 24 hours to gather whatever you need to gather, and you're leaving tomorrow first thing. And then we wake up first thing in the morning, and they're telling us to basically line up in the middle of a street with our backs against the wall, and they had separated the men and the women, the kids. And I just remember soldiers just pacing back and forth, with AK-47s, and thinking about now and just the trauma my parents probably had during this moment when we were all separated. It's the fact that these guys could turn around anytime and just open fire. And luckily, they told us to go back, grab our stuff, and leave and go to the northwest of Kosovo, where all the trouble was really had started. And we knew if we were going to the northwest, there was other different soldiers and different groups that we weren't going to make it out. So luckily for our mayor of our town and the head of our, like, basically our little community, they decided halfway through to go towards Macedonia, where there was two refugee camps being held there for us. And luckily, we got to the border um, untouched, and we get to the border. There's a lot of things that happened there, but eventually they had let us go through, and we had stayed in a camp for a little while, and our names had my dad's family, myself, my two sisters, and my uncle and his two of his kids that were there. All nine of us had the opportunity to come to Canada. My dad had always spoken really highly of Canada because he had uncles, and he had about five uncles here in Canada, and always wanted to come here. And it just kind of, when it came to us, we were the last nine people on the last plane that was being accepted for refugees to come to Canada. So we were extremely lucky, and we were very happy to be on that plane and escape basically everything that was going on. I mean, I remember waking up at 5 in the morning, just going to get sardines and bread in the morning, just enough for our families. You have to wait in line. If you slept in, it was this game, you have to wait till the next day. So I think that's why, for me, even till now, I'm an early riser, whether it comes to training or working, whatever it may be. That kind of thing has been instilled in me. But came to Canada, no one played soccer, and knowing coming from Europe, everyone played soccer like recess, after school, like whenever we got the opportunity. That, like, soccer is like hockey here, right? So, um, with all the green grass around, I'd look around. I'm like, where are all the kids playing soccer? And then I joined a house league team, and we were playing like once a week, and practicing once a week. So I kind of started losing love for the game, and eventually in grade 10, a high school coach of mine was like, "Come try out football." Like all grade 9, he's like, "Come try out football." I'm like, "No, no, no." So grade 10 comes around, he's like, "Come try out for one practice, and if you don't like it, I will never bother you again." And long and behold, I go out to try football, and the fact I think that it reminded me so much of soccer, of all my friends coming together playing like every day after school, and it just made me, I think, realize like the connection between sports, and it didn't matter whether it was the European football or the American football, and I fell in love with the game. I ended up playing linebacker, O line. The only thing I didn't play was a quarterback, and so I really fell in love with the game. And then scholarships happening started coming in, and was going to go to Queens, and luckily came back for next year of high school and got my grades up, got accepted to the pre-Ivy program, and chose Western.
It's an incredible story from start to finish, Lirim. And you talk about, this opportunity to choose Western. What was it that pushed you in that direction as opposed to Queens? And obviously, we're thrilled that you did.
Yeah. Honestly, I just felt because I had my high school teachers, like we had gone to the Ontario Championships for football, and we had started talking to like Guelph, Laurier, and all these and Queens and all these teams. And he's like, if you don't like one thing about that school, don't choose it because it's gonna bug you. Whether it's the color of the uniforms, a certain building that you're gonna spend a lot of time in, and coming to Western, it just like the overall group and the overall feeling going through campus, the hospitality by the guys, just like really made me feel at home. But besides that, I knew I wanted to choose a school based on their academics first, because you hear so many stories for athletes, like you go there and the opportunities might not come, or you may get injured or whatever it may be. You're there for school first, and then football. So I chose it because of the Ivy program, and I just really fell in love with the whole like, the facilities we had at the time, the way everything was set up, and I had a couple friends that had gone there, so I'd come up for visits, and just over time, it felt home, and it wasn't too far away from my hometown in St. Catharines, so it was 2 hours, long enough so I can go home on weekends whenever I want. But at the same time, it's I can still mature at Western.
I love
Best
it.
way to put it.
I love all of it. You obviously hold a lot of records for Mustang football. Do any of those records or maybe moments stand out for you?
I think some of the moments, I think, off the field. I remember when breaking the CIS record, the points record. That was really big because everyone just came around, and I have a picture of myself and my dad, and he's just reaching down from the stands, and I'm just giving him a high five, and then. And Trez Quigley, and it was raining that day. Trez Quigley had grabbed my sisters and my mom that were inside at the moment, and then brought them onto where we were standing there, and it was just a happy moment for myself. But when we broke the record for the most field goals in a career in Windsor, I think that was one of my favorite stories post game, and later on that night, what happened with the guys. You'll have to wait for the story at the World Champions next spring.
You'll keep us in suspense.
All right.
A lot of Mustang fans know you from Western, of course, but I think a lot of people followed your career pretty closely when you were with the Canadian Football League. What would you say the biggest difference was between university football and the CFL?
The biggest, honestly, with because Coach Marshall had coached in the CFL, all the guys had gone there from before, and having Daryl Wheeler, he had played prior to me, and he had held for me for 2 of my 3 years, and just the professionalism that's brought not just by the coaches but also by the players, and the intensity of each practice, the situations they put you on every Tuesday. You're running back and forth, running gassers, and all of a sudden you have to kick a field goal from 45 yards or 50 yards, and if you miss, the guys are running. You know what I mean? So that type of pressure, um, building your everyday moments to prepare for those type of situations when you're playing the pros, I think helped a lot. The difference is a little bit of the speed, but because of commitment to Western football's commitment to making us the best football players possible, it was, I think, a lot easier than a lot of guys that have it. And having Daryl Wheeler basically coach me throughout my career, and it just really helped me a lot just because of his experience in the pro level, his experience going to Utah State, and just on every offseason working with him and my coach, Coach Kick, and it just kind of made it a lot easier. It just I think the people around the organization made the transition very seamless.
You spent 5 seasons in the Canadian Football League, and you were a part of some really good teams. You've now made the decision to move to the NFL. What has the transition been like heading down south of the border?
The transition, again, a lot of the guys that play, I honestly think that 10% of the NFL players obviously are untouchable, like the Aaron Donalds, of the world. They're really really good. But the other 90%, it's honestly all about the opportunity and coaches taking a liking in you. Um, I even with myself with the Rams, I held my ground and more than that, and I think I can compete with anyone in the NFL, and that's what I'm trying to do. Unfortunately, the Rams didn't work out at the moment, but I'm still striving, and just had a workout with the Jets yesterday, and now I'm just waiting for a workout for next week for the Eagles. So the opportunities are there, and as bad as COVID has been, for right now, it's working out in my favor just because I do kicking and punting. And so a lot of teams are looking for guys that are dual guys in case something happens. And I know if I get my opportunities, I'll be able to showcase myself to all the things that I've done at Western, all the things I've done in the Canadian Football League, because I honestly think, like I said, 90% of the players, it's just a matter of timing and just being in the right place at the right time. And that's how some of these things work out, whether it's football, school, jobs, whatever it may be. That's how it goes.
Well, we're certainly wishing you the best of luck with your NFL tryouts, and I know fans are going to be following you really closely. I want to wrap it up with one final question. With
Okay.
all of your travels around the world, in Canada, and down in the States now, how do you bring Purple Pride with you? How do you rep Western wherever you go, and what does that mean to you?
I wish, honestly, I wish I can go get my shirt. I still have my first shirt that we ever got
No
from
way.
Western. Do you want me to show it?
Yes, of
Okay,
course.
one second.
We obviously want to see this first shirt from Western.
Hey, this is
And I love
this
that
is our
you
first
on
Under Armour shirt we had gotten, and you can see it's a little bit worn out. I still have it. I have a pair of shorts in here too. Like wherever I go, I don't know. It's just you're purple and proud, and it's it. Unless you went to Western, you wouldn't get it, and I think that's why wherever we go, we carry a sleeve on our heart and our shirt. So, uh, you know, love it.
I love it too, and I feel like that shirt's going to bring you a bit of luck in this next season.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, we're sending you warm wishes, and for everyone watching, let's get back to this Western Mustangs game for the second half of the Mustangs versus the GGs. Thanks so much, Lirim.
Thanks, guys.